was like, okay, I did not know that, so I wanted all of you to know that, and that's all I have.
Any questions or comments from the mayor, safety director? Councilwoman Sloto?
I was just curious about the marijuana excise tax. Just in general, how much does come in a year right now?
So just started, and I wanna say, a guesstimate,
We haven't received anything. It hasn't been
Right.
appropriated yet because they're still arguing about who's gonna get the money. Right
Right.
now, the current proposal by Governor DeWine is to increase the tax to 15%, but then keep it all for the state's general fund.
Right,
That's what
right.
we're arguing against, so we've received nothing.
I mean, but in the past, like last year, did we
We
get
didn't
anything?
receive anything.
Okay, all right.
and our
Should
thought
have,
was
but-
we were gonna receive a couple
Right,
hundred thousand a year, so this is something that would be detrimental to us.
What's he gonna do?
Councilwoman Koski?
Oh, and what's the state gonna do with this?
Right, right. I have no idea. Maybe I'll find out that when it gets closer to it, because that's the next question, but right now, even the senator.
Maybe you need to tell them we're part of the state and we could use it.
Any further questions or comments for the mayor, safety director? Thank you, Mayor. Reports and communications from the director of law.
Nothing to report, Mr. Council President.
Any questions or comments for the law director? Thank you, Jeremy. Communications from council president. We have a liquor license transfer from Tina's Discount Tobacco and Beverages at 29417 Newport Avenue to formerly now called Simon's Premier Smoke and Convenience at the same address. If there's any objections from the council person, please let the council clerk know. Any amendments or additions to the agenda? Councilman Jaworski.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I would like to add to the agenda street dedication for, I guess we'll call it Lincoln, the temporary name Lincoln Landing.
Okay, so street dedication of Lincoln Landing will be new business A.
And then,
Go ahead.
real quick, if I could just add new business B, would just be AI transcription software.
Okay, AI transcription software to new business B. Okay, any other addition or amendments to the agenda? Councilman Gerhardstein.
Can I add under new business C, officer training reimbursement? Police officer training reimbursement.
Okay, under new business C, police officer training reimbursement. Any other additions or amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, I'll move on to the administrators. Police Chief Bush.
Thank you, Council President LeBron. I have nothing further to add to
Any questions or comments for the police chief? Thank you, Chief. Fire Chief Grossman.
Thank you, Council President Levon. I have nothing to add to my submitted report.
Any questions or comments for the fire chief? Thank you, Chief. Finance Director Hunter.
Thank you, Council President. January is now closed and the general fund carryover balance is about 7.3 million. It should be noted that there were 3 pays in January.
Any questions or comments for the Finance Director? Councilman Gerhardstein.
On the revised budget we have, after all, I know we're gonna go over that at the end, but that, the revised 2025 budget still shows us projecting a $1.4 million deficit budget, which includes $899,000 we have to pay back to the net profit tax, correct? That's included in the 1.4?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further questions or comments for the Finance Director? Thank you, Ms. Hunter. Engineer Formica.
Thank you, Council President. I have nothing to add to my written report.
Any questions or comments for the city engineer? Councilman Gerhardstein.
Pete, going along with what the mayor said in his remarks about streetlights improvements, I thought we covered this last year when we were doing roads, that a lot of the roads have, besides the lights that were changed under, that were replaced because they were burnt out, some of these roads only have 5, 6, sometimes even just 10 lights. And I thought we made that part of the road program as part of the estimates that we were changing the lights out, so we were doing these one road at a time.
We didn't make it part of the contract with the contractor, that would've just cost us
I know,
more
I-
money. But Ron was coordinating that with the electric company to have those changed out as we were going through his whatever NOPEC funding that he was getting, I believe. So we'll continue to do that with Dave until otherwise notified.
So can we add that part of when we're doing a quote this year, can we quote what remaining lights are on those roads?
Yes.
And let council decide if we want to spend the $250 fixture?
No problem.
Please,
Yes.
thank you.
Councilman Bala.
Hey, driving up on Rockefeller between Euclid Avenue and Ridge, it just seems like one side of the road going south is tore up, but the other side's fine.
Correct.
Is there, I mean, have you noticed this, or?
Yes, oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I believe when they poured that, we went from one type of concrete to another, because of, I think there was a shortage of the cement, so they went from a high early type concrete to a Class C regular concrete. And one of them is failed. I don't know which one is which, to be honest with you. I'd have to look up in the inspection records of which side actually failed. But that is, you can tell there's a different tint or hue to the concrete on a nice day or a summer day when the sun hits it. You can see there's a different shade to it. And I'll look, I've always wanted to spend some time checking into that and find out what it was.
Is the cement spec'd out though in the?
Yes, yes, we typically for our roads, we spec out a high early or a faster setting concrete so that we can get the residents back to their driveways faster, for less, inconvenience to the public. And we haven't had a lot of issues with that. So, like I said, I need to check, I'll check the records and see which one is the one that's failing.
Yeah, it's just a huge difference.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
and with the weather, it makes it.
The joints are popping like crazy. Correct.
Yeah. All right, so something we look forward to, I mean,
But that's
when we're pouring cement.
15, 20 years old too.
Yeah, I know.
So, yes.
Totally different. All right.
Any further questions? Councilman Hartstein?
Are we looking to address the problem on Harrison?
Yes. Right now, we're trying not even to plow that, we're just trying to salt it, and we're like throwing a ton of salt on that street. We did have a gentleman that went down and wasn't aware of the problem, but hopefully we can take some of the slab program that we have this year, because some of it's gonna be on Douglas, and hopefully we can stretch it to Harrison. Because it does need some issues.
And we're working on a fix over the summer?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
It definitely needs addressed.
All right.
Any further questions or comments for the service?
No.
City engineer? Thank you, Pete.
Thank you.
Service Director Kravchuk.
Thank you, Council President Levon. I have nothing to add to my written report.
Councilwoman Koski.
I'm sorry, I keep forgetting to call you, but there's a pole that is missing on the corner of Twin Lakes and Rush, and it is a very, very dark at night for like a good length, a good span.
There's 4 of them that are missing.
Yeah.
When it happened, the tornado took out 2 of them, and then the one that's still there right now, the electric's just hanging from there.
Right,
Just
the
waiting.
wires.
I met with the representative from First Energy last Thursday, and I brought that up to her, and she's aware of the problem, she's gonna be on the problem. Some of the stuff kinda went to the wayside for her. She wasn't aware that 3 poles were missing itself, and that's, there's a couple missing that were like the bad storm had took the poles down.
Right,
And they have
right.
not replaced them. I mean, there's one right on Robert Street itself, same thing. The electricity's not even hooked up to it.
Yeah, but it's just
Oh,
like
it's-
so dark
it
right
is.
there.
I was-
It's kind of, it seems like it's not a safe.
Yeah, we've had a couple calls about it too. We've reported it, and they have it actually marked out for oops right now to replace the pole. The stub's just like sitting right there. So they're gonna hopefully come to it shortly.
Do we get a discount on those
I'll
lights
try.
that don't exist? Thank you.
Any further questions? Councilman Jaworski.
Just a request for your future reports when there's service department overtime, if you could just add that in the report too, that would be just helpful to see how much overtime you guys are working there, especially in the wintertime when there's a lot of plowing going on, just so we could, see that whatever the given time frame is of the report.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any further questions or comments for the service director? Thank you, Dave. Building Commissioner Sack.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I just have a few things on Sunset Development. Their sanitary line was hooked in and all done on Bellevue this week. I don't know what day they're gonna start. They're gonna run the water line on Euclid Avenue across there. They'll have a police department who will help them with traffic on that. Just wanna let you be aware of that.
Any questions or comments for the Building Commissioner? Thank you, Ray. Recreation Director, stop.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Just one comment to add. We had a nice event down at the Community Senior Center today. Fox 8 News was down there videotaping our Pledge of Allegiance. So it's going to go on their rotation starting in March. And it was nice. The seniors had an opportunity to do a nice job on it, so it was good. Just want to let you know that. That's it.
Any questions or comments for the Recreation Director? Thank you, Tim. I'll now open the floor for audience participation. If anyone would like to address Wickliffe City Council, please stand, state your name and address for the clerk's record. She has a microphone that has to be used. Each person will have a 5-minute max amount of time. Would anyone like to address Wickliffe City Council? Would anyone like to address Wickliffe City Council? If not, mark audience participation closed. Committee reports. The Finance Committee met on February 3rd, 2025. Meeting called to order at 7:06 p.m. Purpose 2025 budget. Present: Bella, Gaharstein, Jaworski, Kosky, Levon, Thielman, excuse Saloto. Also present: Mayor Sakis, Police Chief Bush, Engineer Formica, Service Director Kravchuk, Finance Director Hunter, Building Commissioner Sack, Recreation Director Stop, and Fire Chief Grossman. Finance Director Hunter presented some items she wanted the committee to consider. The state notified the city that we have to reimburse them $900,000 for taxes that were incorrectly sent to us in 2024. This expense amount will be added to the municipal net profit tax line item. She would like to add $300,000 to the net profit tax revenue line item. She would also like to add $150,000 to the city income tax revenue line item, since multiple businesses should be opening in the city in 2025. The proposed current budget deficit is approximately $1.5 million. The committee started with the revenue portion first. Jaworski questioned the amount in the local government fund. Hunter replied that was the amount agreed upon by the county. Kosky asked what properties do we collect revenue on for the lease of city property line item. Hunter stated Green Vision. Jaworski followed up by asking when their lease was finished. Fire Chief Grossman stated there was no end date at this time and that the administration will be looking into that. Hartstein asked why we haven't collected the budgeted SRO reimbursement line item over the past few years. He believes it's part of an agreement. Police Chief Bush stated there is a memorandum of understanding between the schools and the city, and he will communicate with Superintendent Specia about the difference. Jaworski asked if we sent invoices to the schools. Hunter confirmed we do. Hartstein asked about the dollar amount in the vacant and foreclosure fees line item, since the fees double every year. Building Commissioner Sack stated the majority of vacant buildings were sold over the past couple of years, which is a good thing. Jaworski questioned the dollar amount proposed in the Senior Center Fund revenue line item, since it's double what we collected in 2024. Hunter advised that the 2025 projection included leftover money from 2024. Jaworski asked Recreation Director Stop if we were increasing the green fees, since the proposed budget for that line item is greater than the amount we collected in 2024. Stop stated we have no plans to increase fees at the golf course. Councilwoman Kosky asked where the money collected in the opioid settlement distribution line item goes. Hunter advised that the money collected goes to training and other specific uses provided by the state. Jaworski asked about the large proposed increase in the reimbursements Lake County other agency line item. Formica advised that we have a lot of road projects that we are getting funding for, including Cary Lane, Parkwood, Ridge Road, and the 2025 slab replacement program. Kosky questioned the increased amount in the projected deposits building department line item. SAC advised that we have some large projects starting in 2025, the Sunset Development, former school property, etc., so they can expect an increase this year. He also advised that this is a zero balance account, so there is an expense line item that matches the funding that is collected. The proposed revenue was increased by $478,000. The committee then moved on to the expense portion of the budget. Ravon asked for clarification on the percentage increases employees will be receiving. Hunter advised it was 5% in 2025, 4% in 2026, and 3% in 2027. Hunter advised that through the union agreement, we are increasing the recreation administrative assistant salary to $47,000. Jaworski questioned the increase in the recreation programs and classes line item. Stop advised that he plans to add more programs and we have to increase the amount we pay to instructors. Hartstein asked what percentage increase the building department's administrative assistant was receiving. Hunter advised it was 5%. Jaworski wanted clarification on the contract service inspection line item. SAC stated that money was in there to hire an outside inspector if he was on vacation. He stated that the building inspector now has all of his certifications, so he can remove the $1,000 in that line item. Hartstein questioned the amounts of the site plan, grade set, and erosion control line items. SAC advised that we have some large projects starting in 2025, so they expect an increase this year. He also advised that this is a zero balance account, so there is a revenue line item that matches the funding that is collected. Mayor Sakis advised that he reduced the proposed amount in the economic development expense line from $15,000 in 2024 to $10,000 in 2025. Hartstein requested an explanation of what falls under this line item. Sakis advised economic programs, signs, and marketing. Jaworski asked why we didn't have any money in the storefront renovation line item. Sakis stated that we didn't get a lot of bites in 2024 and we were going to take a year off from it and focus on the large projects that are going on in the city in 2025. Jaworski questioned the trash collections and landfill line items. We don't seem to be spending nearly as much as we project on a yearly basis. Kropchak replied that we aren't able to dump at Green Vision, so our costs will go up, but he agreed that we can reduce the trash collections line item from $24,000 to $14,000. Sakis notified the committee that since the service director and assistant service director were hired late in 2024, they will not be receiving a raise in 2025. Hunter advised that through the union agreement, we are increasing the service department administrator salary to $48,000. Jaworski questioned the service department seasonal labor line item. Kropchak advised that we will continue to have 4 to 6 people working part-time and their work schedule is dependent on their school schedule. Jaworski asked about the increase in the tree removal line item. He wanted to know if there was a specific park or street they were focusing on. Kropchak had stated that Nels Park was the main focus. Jaworski followed by asking if we had any contact with an arborist to advise on the health of trees. Kropchak advised that we do not. Hartstein reminded the committee that he is not in favor of the vehicle lease program as one vehicle for the fire department and one vehicle for the police department just sit in their parking lots. Kropchak stated that the former service director Strasser already renewed the program through 2026. Bale asked Kropchak about the price of salt in 2025. Kropchak said it was approximately $45 a ton in 2024 and approximately $49 a ton in 2025. Hartstein questioned the increase in the mayor other expenses line item. Sakis replied that it should be $9,200, $2,400 for the commission dinner and gifts and mayors and manager meetings. $1,600 is for the football tailgate event. He stated that the tailgate event gets reimbursed through sponsorships and it is a zero balance account. Sakis announced that he would like to increase the finance director's salary more than the 5% that other employees are receiving. It'll be 5% plus an extra $1,500. He also stated the same raise would be given to the law director. Jaworski questioned what fell under the special counsel attorney fees line item. Hunter stated that workers' compensation cases would be an example. Jaworski asked about the municipal court cost line item. He asked if they planned on increasing costs. Bush advised that there is a yearly fight between the cities and the court over costs. At this point in time, we shouldn't expect a large increase. Jaworski questioned the bank charges line item. He asked if we can legally pass along any credit card charges to the purchaser, and if so, he has no objection to do so. Hunter advised that it was not illegal. Jaworski asked, and Hunter confirmed that the income tax collection cost is what Rita charges us to collect income taxes. Hartstein questioned the increase in the general government line item. Hunter advised we can bump it down from $125,000 to $111,000. Hunter advised we can decrease the labor attorney line item from $10,000 to $5,000 since negotiations are complete with the unions. Hartstein asked for an explanation on the increase in the computer security consultant line item. Bush notified the committee that Microsoft passed along a large increase and we have to pay for each email address we use. Levon asked what goes into the website and marketing line item. Sekis advised that public records requests are one example, and social media is now included in these requests, so they're expecting an increase. Jaworski followed by stating that our website provider is mismanaging our URL and it is malpractice and we should be reimbursed. Sekis stated he would review that. Hartstein wanted confirmation that the NOPEC expenses line item is the total amount awarded. Hunter confirmed it was and that it was a net zero account. Hunter notified the committee that she has to add $900,000 to the refunds net profit State of Ohio line item. Jaworski asked what is charged to the Route 2 maintenance line item. Krofcheck advised the county charges us for plowing the highway and for cutting grass along the freeway. Sekis advised that he is proposing a 12% pay increase for both the police and fire chief to pay them 10% more than their lieutenants and captains. Both Bale and Thielman had no objections with this. Hartstein stated this is not sustainable to continue to give these types of raises going forward. Hartstein questioned the increase in the overtime police line item. Bush stated that he is 3 guys short and needs to use more overtime. Koski asked if he had enough school guards. Bush replied that no one is applying for that job and he could use more if possible. Bush advised that the detective secretary salary will decrease from $51,000 to $31,000 as she will stay part-time in 2025. Jaworski questioned the overtime secretary line item. Bush stated that she used to be provided comp time for any extra hours she worked, but she will use overtime this year. Hunter advised that through the union agreement, we are increasing the fire chief secretary salary to $52,200. Hartstein questioned the overtime fireman line item. Fire Chief Grossman stated that they used a lot of overtime in 2024 covering for the retirement of the fire inspector. Grossman notified the committee that we have to increase the educational differences line item from $16,076 to $20,076. Jaworski asked for clarification on the contract services line item. Grossman stated that software from billing of EMS, the state required NIFRS incident reporting software and fire inspection software. Jaworski asked about the decrease in the dispatcher's wages part-time line item. Bush replied that he is looking for one, but they are not easy to find. One full-time employee will be retiring in 2025 and has interest in coming back part-time. Jaworski questioned communication information systems line item. Bush notified the committee that this pays for the backbone fees, CAD system, and the PCAP system, which handles the 911 calls. Hartstein wanted an explanation on the proposed amount in the senior center custodian line item. Stop advised that we didn't have a custodian for most of the year last year, and the service department had to assist. Hartstein asked if we had a senior center assistant. Stop replied that we do not have one and that he is allowing the new senior center director to become acclimated before he hires that role. Jaworski questioned the increase in the senior center supplies and maintenance line item. Stop stated the building is aging and he is anticipating building and maintenance repairs being needed in 2025. Levon asked about the increase in miscellaneous expenses in the swimming pool fund. Stop advised that we need new swimsuit for lifeguards and we can reimburse them for their certifications. Hartstein wanted clarification on the $200,000 in the golf course capital projects line item. He wanted to know exactly what this money was being earmarked for. After some discussion, the committee agreed to reduce the amount to $10,000. Sekis advised that the $100,000 in the golf course set-aside line item is for the irrigation system, and this is part of a 3-year plan. The committee agreed to move $85,500 from the miscellaneous project line item to the building's maintenance and repair line item for updating of the fire department's dorms and the police department lobby. Jaworski and Hartstein would prefer the $60,000 for the fire department dorms be set aside for the needed ladder truck. Levon and Koski both thought that $60,000 doesn't make or break the $1.8 million needed for the truck, so they were content with leaving it in for the dorms. The committee reduced the police department equipment line item by $76,970, decreasing the police department generator from $100,000 to $66,530, moving $18,500 for pistols and sights to the equipment state line item to be paid for by the Law Enforcement Trust Fund, and removing the $25,000 proposed for fencing around the police station. Overall, below are the changes made during the meeting. Revenue. City income tax was increased by $150,000. The state of Ohio net profit tax was increased by $300,000, and the SRL reimbursement was increased by $28,000. The expenses. Recreation Administrative Assistant salaries increased to $47,000. Contract Services Inspection was decreased by $1,000. Trash collections was decreased by $10,000. The service department administrator was increased to $48,000. Mayor other expenses was decreased to $9,200. The general government was decreased to $111,000. The labor attorney was decreased by $5,000. Refunds net profit state of Ohio increased by $899,000. Detective secretary salary decreased to $31,000. Fire chief secretary salary increased to $52,200. Educational difference increased to $20,076. Capital projects decreased to $10,000. Miscellaneous projects, $85,500 moved to buildings, maintenance, and repair. Police department equipment was decreased by $76,970, with the generator decreasing to $66,530. The Glock pistols, $18,500 moved to equipment state. Police lot fencing removed for $25,000 decrease, and the equipment state was increased by $18,500. The committee had no more questions or suggestions. After the recommended changes, the proposed 2025 budget has a deficit of $1.47 million. This line item will remain in committee and will be reviewed one more time before being recommended to council. Meeting adjourned at 9:41, respectfully submitted. Any commission reports? Councilman Jaworski?
Well, Planning Commission met February 6, 2025. Planning Commission had a receipt of applicant for consideration and recommendation of a requested rezoning from IR district to R175 residential, located at 2688 Bishop Road in an IR district. The Planning Commission also approved, beg your pardon, a request for approval for sketch plat and a request for preliminary plat approval for what is temporarily being called Lincoln Landing subdivision. That's located at parcel 29B007-000-004, which is the old middle school, elementary school property. There was a request for informational discussion of proposed amended zoning map from general business to multifamily and a portion of R160 to multifamily. The ARB also met that same night, and we had to table, and we will resume that meeting on Wednesday night, this upcoming Wednesday night at 6 p.m.
Any other commission reports? Seeing no old business, new business A, street dedication of Lincoln Landing. Councilman Jaworski.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I just asked if we could put this item into the proper committee. We haven't had one of these in a long time, and I think it would be good for council to discuss the pros and cons of street dedication, especially if the developer, as he wants to go with a homeowners association. I think that the city could potentially alleviate some costs, or could save some costs if it is an HOA by not dedicating the street and letting the HOA take care of everything.
Okay. We can put the street dedication of Lincoln Landing into the improvement committee. Any other discussion on new business A? Now move on to new business B, AI transcription software. Councilman Jaworski.
So based on our, I don't know, it seemed like a 4-hour long plus meeting this past Thursday night, Mary Betts said it was going to take her about 12 hours or so to transcribe everything. There's some AI software out there. It probably comes with a cost. Jeremy, I don't know if your office uses anything. Mine does, but it's more for videos and stuff like that. I don't know if it would make sense for us.
I'm not sure.
But there's certainly, I think, there's reasonable AI software out there that we could probably use that could help our committee secretaries out for something like this and help them become more efficient at their jobs at a very reasonable costs. So I just ask if the administration would please look into this.
Will do. We'll just put it into the AI transcription software into the committee of the whole. Well, I should put it into finance. So if you guys can find out, if there's anything that's affordable, let us know. We'll call a meeting. We'll discuss it. So we'll put it in the finance committee. Any other discussion on new business B? Okay, we'll move on to new business C, police officer training reimbursement. Councilman Hartstein.
I wanted to notify council that there is ordinance 2025-04. It was an ordinance that was on a year ago. After talking to Chief Bush a week ago, Chief Bush had a conversation that this has never happened before, and then it happened. The city of Wickliffe paid a young gentleman to go to officer training school. He did not have a certificate, so we paid him his pay and his salary, his hospitalization. He went off to school, and just as he cleared his probationary period, he got a job at the Geauga County Sheriff's Department, and he's going to leave with the career that the residents bought him. So we failed to pass this when it came up the last time. So now the chief is frustrated because not only did he has to go do this again, now he has to put his field training officers back, and we start all over again. So the chief at the time we had talked to, we weren't all 100% behind it the last time. So as the conversation went, the chief is more apt, I think, this time to back this a little bit stronger this time because of the frustration he has that the guy took his career that the residents got him and now it's left. Is that right, Chief?
100% correct.
Okay. So I just want to let council know it's back up. I know we had some discussion that we didn't want to scare candidates off, but the residents of the city of Wickliffe bought this gentleman a career. Go ahead, Chief.
Also, we just gave a test because we're hiring, and out of the 22 candidates, only 4 of them have the police academy. So I suspect somebody we hire one of the 2 will probably not have the academy. So this is a very good idea, I think, since we got burned once.
And this is brought back not only by my request, the chief, on our conversation, the chief said he would not mind having this back on as an ordinance because he feels like the last time this gentleman walked away with a career that the residents bought and paid for, and we have no way to go back and get any of our, we can't get his payroll back or his health care, but we can at least get our schooling back that the residents paid for. That's what it's about.
Mayor, you know anything? Okay, Councilman Ballard?
John, what does the school cost?
For patrolman hours, it was $4,800.
How much?
$4,800
For the school?
for the school. Yeah, so the ordinance, it's gonna be read as if he leaves within 1 year, he has to pay the whole thing back. Between 1 and 2 years, 75% back. Between 2 and 3 years, 50% back, and 3 to 4 years, 25% back.
Do you think 4 years is a long time?
I think the 4 years, if somebody's here 4 years, they're gonna be here. But I didn't think we'd even run into this. So I don't know, with this generation, they come and go as they please. So who knows? I wish I could have a crystal ball.
I just can't remember from last time any other cities do the same thing.
We've never lost somebody like this,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
Jim, I formulated it off of other cities in Ohio that use the same contract. That's where I came up with the idea of those numbers in the prorated system when we originally introduced that. So, yeah, other cities in Ohio definitely do it.
Oh, I know some do it, you know. Everybody around here, yeah, usually we always pay stuff out.
Oh, no, I was
Okay,
gonna ask
okay.
the cost.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councilman Jaworski?
Just for clarification, then, I guess I'll put this one to Randy. Are you suggesting that we introduce the exact same language in the previous ordinance?
Yes, it's technically on first reading, but I was going to suspend when it got there, only because they gave the test, and I really didn't want to take a chance that we go beyond that. So, council's either gonna pass it, or it's gonna fail. I mean, so there's no sense of going through reading. Council's gonna know how they went. We voted on this before. This has been up before. So the chief and I had this conversation, the chief asked for it to come back. I'm just,
No, I fully support you and the chief.
Right, yeah.
We're in a completely different set of circumstances now with this generation, so I was blindsided by this.
And just for clarification, I asked the council clerk to redo this contract the same as it was written before under new ordinance number. Councilwoman Sloto?
So just to be clear then, you're not gonna be concerned that this is gonna deter new officers from coming? I mean, around here, does anyone have this kind of policy, or is it just gonna be like Wickliffe's got this policy?
I believe there's a couple cities around here, I think Willoughby Hills does it.
Okay,
And just talking to other chiefs about the situation that happened to us, they believe that if it happened to them, they would be asking for the money back regardless.
right,
And
Okay.
I've had some conversation with the law director about doing just that. We did recover some money from him due to contractual things. We recovered about $1,500 from him from equipment that we purchased.
okay,
So-
yeah, I just wanna make sure, cause I know the last time this came up.
Correct,
Yeah,
yes.
we talked a lot about how it would be
Yep.
like a real deterrent for, applicants.
Until it happened to me, I was on the other side, but
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
want to, got burned once, I don't want to get burned again.
Yeah, that's all I wanna make sure, okay, great.
Other further, Councilman Thielman?
I guess I prefer, kind of along what Jim's lines, were asking maybe a shorter time frame, maybe a 1-year payback period, and after that, it's gone. I don't like the idea of 4 years. That's just me personally.
Oh, okay.
Prorated down. They get 1 year, they're here for a year, then it's forgiven.
I guess it depends on how long the training takes to truly train a police officer. Is it just 1 year, or is it a lot longer? Chief Bush, what would you say it takes to,
Well, in the circumstances we just got burned at, he was here longer than a year because he had not done, he was not cutting it, so we extended his probationary period, basically. So he had been here, we'd already paid for his academy. The academy's 6 months, so that's 6 months of time right there. So 6 months and then another 4 months of field training, 10 months, and then he goes on probation a year once he gets off of that. So I would, at minimum, until he's off probation, because this gentleman was still on probation when he left.
What was the academy charge? That's the 4,000 or?
800.
Okay. The other period is training while he's.
Right, we can't ask for money back, those are hours
Those
worked.
are
This is
hours
just
we can
money
never
for
ask
the
for.
academy.
Right.
We
6
are
months
trying to send
academy.
our officers to the Iowa State Patrol Academy anyway, which is free.
Right.
So that's my preference, if we can get them into the free academy. Plus, it's a better academy, I think.
any other discussion on new business C? Okay. Move on to ordinances.
Ordinance number 2025-02 amended. This is the first reading. An ordinance accepting a highway easement granted by 28825 Euclid Avenue LLC unto the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, as to a portion of the property located at 28825 Euclid Avenue in said city. Ordinance number 2025-04. This is also the first reading. An ordinance enacting chapter 149.06, officer training, payment and reimbursement of the codified ordinances of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerhardstein, seconded by Councilwoman Kosky to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance 2025-04 on third and final reading. Discussion? Councilman Ballot?
I guess I'm with Tom too. I'd like to see it only for 2 years and not 4. And it's only $4,000. And again, if he's here for 2 years, I think he'll be here.
Any further
4 years is
discussion?
a long time.
Any further discussion on the suspension? Sandy, please call the roll.
Bell.
No.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kosky.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Saloto.
No,
Thielman.
No.
Okay, ordinance will go on to second reading.
Ordinance number 2025-05, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio to enter into a contract with the Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association, clerical, and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
second.
Moved by Councilman Ballot, seconded by Councilwoman Saloto to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance 2025-05 on third and final reading. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Bell.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kosky.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Steelman.
Yes.
Adoption?
Second.
Moved by Councilman Hartstein, seconded by Councilman Thielman to adopt ordinance 2025-05 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Ballard.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Steelman.
Yes.
Ordinance passes.
Ordinance number 2025-06, an ordinance providing appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Wickliffe, Ohio for the period beginning January 1st, 2025 and ending March 31st, 2025, and declaring an emergency.
Suspension?
Second.
Moved by Councilman Hartstein, seconded by Councilman Thielman to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance 2025-06 on third and final reading. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Ballard.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Steelman.
Yes.
Adoption?
Second.
Moved by Councilman Hartstein, seconded by Councilman Thielman to adopt ordinance 2025-06 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Ballard.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Steelman.
Yes.
Ordinance passes. Seeing no resolutions, move on to other legislation. Miscellaneous. We're gonna need to have another finance committee meeting for the budget. I will not be around next week, I'll be traveling. What day would you like to call that for, Councilwoman Kowski? Monday, Monday, February
would be fine.
17th?
Yes.
At 7 PM? Okay, so finance committee meeting February 17th at 7 PM. Any other miscellaneous? Entertain a motion for adjournment?
So moved?
Second.
Moved by Councilman Hartstein, seconded by Councilman Jaworski to adjourn the meeting. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Ballard.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Steelman.
Yes.